Stars Unlimited enthusiasts, we are back! Yes, oh yes, we are back with some more local gameplay. After Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana, where I record these games, completed their month-long draft of Legends of the Force, it is now time for some good old constructed premiere in Legends of the Force. First, let me apologize for the glare on this side of the board. I do really apologize for that. Unfortunately, I had my camera set up a different place, which had the glare instead of the other table I used, so I apologize. Unfortunately, I think we're just going to have to deal with the glare here, unfortunately. But we can make do. We can still talk and all that. So this is round 1 of August 7th, 3 rounds here at Valkyrie Vault in Indiana. I will let you all know I was playing Barris Destruction Temple. It's the rare red base from LOF. I was just doing some gimmick, and I do play the next in round 2 against someone, so you'll get to see that. But anyways, for round 1, on this side of the table, we got Revan ECL. So Revan is one of the 2 unique leaders that came out in LOF, him and Anakin Skywalker, that are mono leaders. So meaning that you only get villainy and whatever your base color is, in this case, green. So hopefully, maybe when we get set 7, 8, and 9, which I believe actually got their names revealed now, we should get like double colored bases, because if they're going to continue to make mono-colored leaders, I really think they need to make double colored bases. Well, I think that is very interesting for a lot of deck strategies that use double colored leaders that you then can manipulate, for instance, to typically play like aggression or vigilance or command, cunning at your normal price, those double colored things. Without paying the aspect penalty, you have to play double color base. So if you wanted to play aggression from Spark Rebellion, you would need 2 reds. Your base would have to be red, and your leader would have to be red. So it'd be very interesting to see just how exactly that could work with leaders that have 2 aspects on them. But then let's discuss Revan. When a unit dies when a unit kills another guy by combat, you can tap him to give a +1/+1 counter to that unit. On his backside, he does the exact same thing. He awakens, I believe, at 5 resources, and he does have a Restore 1 on him. So this whole deck is just Beatdown Turbo. That's the name of the game with Revan. It's Beatdown Turbo. Over here, we got good old Tambor from Twilight of the Republic with Tarkintown. So we got Tambor Tarkintown. So anyways, Tambor states on his front side, if a unit leaves the battlefield, you can tap him and then give another unit on your board +2/+2. He does the exact same thing on his backside as well, but it's on attack. If a unit had died that turn, you can give a +2/+2 to another unit. It's typically always your units have to be dying to give the +2/+2. So really unique method here of like you can kill your own things and punch them in your opponents. Your opponent really doesn't want to punch you in the doesn't want to punch your guys off the board, because that then just triggers Tambor to allow things. So it's a very different style of gameplay here for your opponent have to think about it, because you really don't want to be striking Tambor's stuff off the battlefield, because if they at least have another body active, Tambor can then power up that body, and that body swings in for a big amount of damage. So anyways, we'll talk about the bases. These are the rare bases, of course, from the Spark Rebellion. Tarkintown is epic action, deal 3 damage to a non-leader unit. And then ECL is epic action. You can send out a level 6 or lower it costs 6 or lower guy out of your hand, paying its cost, and give it ambush. So that's the name of the game. These 2 decks are beatdown decks. This one just has a little more viability because again it's a triple so this is a green villainy with red, and then this is just mono villainy with green. So we'll just have to kind of see who wins this all. So apologies, that is Tambor in the, of course, glare, and we do have a nice, pretty looking showcase Revan there. So anyways, here we go for our players. We're going to start out with a Sith Legionnaire coming on down. Again, as long as you control another villain unit, he does get a +2/+0 onto his body. So anyways, we're going to start with a bit two tubes for, of course, Tambor for 1, and then we're going to put out Death Stormtrooper. Apologies for also the angle is not the greatest as well for this one. I was on a completely different table. Anyways, we're going to go on from there. It looks like the Revan player will be starting out. We're going to go for the good old Phase 3 Dark Trooper with the Sentinel there, immediately able to, of course, allow for the buff with the, of course, the Legionary. And then we're going to bring out the B1 on the platform there. Again, the Stealth Legionary knocking out Big 2 tubes. And, of course, the Stormtrooper being able to knock out the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. Anyways, we're going to move on forward to the next round here. It looks like the Revan player still has full initiative, and they're going to put out a Knight of Ren 4/4. That's really actually good right there for being a nuisance. But again, the B1 platform is also a 5/2. I don't know why it has to be. But anyways, we got a Purge Trooper coming down. We're going to swing in 5 damage onto the ECL off of the B1. So anyways, Purge Trooper really didn't matter if you had a Force unit. Unfortunately, the Knight of Ren is not a Force unit. He's only a First Order unit. So he does not carry the Force keyword on him, which is not exactly fun when sometimes you need a Force unit out on, especially with a set like this, where everything was Force, especially for like the older cards that need Force or a unit that can give Force. So anyways, we're going to trigger the ECL trigger here. We're going to go for 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘. 𝐒𝐓𝐾 does get to come out and does get to get the ambush there, burning from the ECL, does come in shielded and knocks out Revan's ability to give it a +1/+1. We're going to trigger Tambor's ability to give a +1 to, I don't know, I believe it might have been the Purge Trooper, because it does give a +2/+2, so Knight of Ren was able to kill that off. So anyways, we're going to go within Tambor, and then here comes the good old Revan, both coming out on 5, which is pretty nice. Most leaders come out on 6 these days, so we have a few leaders that come out on 4. We have I think a good amount do come out on 5, but a majority of your leaders do come out on 6 resources. So anyways, we're going to go for Tambor. Tambor swinging on the base for 3 and then gets that power buff to the Vanguard here, I would guess, because a unit did leave the battlefield, unless I completely misread how Tambor works. We're just going to swing into the Tarkintown base here and deal 3. Then we're immediately, going to send the battle droid in to kill off Revan because it is had all the power-ups. Anyways, we're going to just burn out the hand there to put out another B1 and a good old First Order Stormtrooper in the glare. But anyways, there's a First Order Stormtrooper. Once again, it does have 2 damage, and on attack does deal 1 indirect damage. It was the new mechanic of indirect coming from, of course, Jump to Lightspeed, or JTL. So anyways, Revan is down. We're going to go for Overwhelming Barrage. Then, of course, we're going to have Tambor swing in. Tambor can't power up himself. He can only power up non-attacking things. And we're mainly going to kill off Tambor with the good old 𝐒𝐓𝐾. And then 𝐒𝐒𝐾 is going to get another +1 there because of a Revan. And again, just those X's there tell people that Revan has been burned. So Tarkintown is still active for the Tambor player, that he could still burn it to deal 3 damage to a non-leader unit. Unfortunately, 𝐒𝐓𝐾 is a little stronger right now as he is a 5/8. So Tarkintown cannot physically kill him, but we'll just have to see what exactly will happen here. Right now, that 𝐒𝐓𝐾 can deal back 5 damage per turn, which isn't great when you're on a 25-pointed health base. So we'll just have to kind of see it. Again, Tambor is all about his units have to smash in. Also, funny enough, Tambor isn't a space deck. A lot of times, it's not that. So anyways, we're just going to immediately smash in and utilizing the effect of a timely intervention to hit for 5. And then I believe they missed, I don't know if they missed the triggers from the indirect damage there or not. But anyways, 𝐒𝐓𝐾 hits the Tarkintown there for 5 and then immediately gets killed off by Tarkintown. We're going to have put out a Purge Trooper, but Purge Trooper has no effect to activate because there is no Force unit on the board right now. The Phase 3 Dark Trooper does not have the Force. So we're entering into, of course, now the very late game of it all. So anyways, we'll have to kind of see as we're going to immediately go for the Spurs. So anyways, we're going to give a show token from this shuttle ST-149 over to, of course, the Dark Trooper so that it can survive when this Purge Trooper hits it in battle. And of course, that will trigger also its effect as well because of the fact that it did survive in the battle. So it looks like we may be going for the Captain Cody coordinate. Everyone gains +1 and overwhelm. we're immediately going to kill off that, and then we're going to pump up that phase 3 Dark Trooper, but with his own effect and with Revan. So anyways, one thing about 𝐂𝐻 that's kind of a little bit of the nasty side is the fact that 𝐂𝐻 doesn't play any space. So decks like 𝐂𝐍𝐍 or Vader or anything like that definitely can have a better advantage if they see their space engine a little faster. And be able to smash into your opponent's face. So if your opponent's got more of a space threat and you're pretty much on the ground threat, the grounds really can't deal with the space. So anyways, we're going to go for another timely intervention to hit 2 damage onto, of course, the phase 3 Dark Trooper. I'm not exactly sure about that, but then again, you had to basically kill it. But anyways, now it has another +1/+1 counter on it, but it doesn't matter. Captain Cody knocks that thing right out of the board. So far, the only thing that's right now a threat to the 𝐂𝐻 player right now is, of course, the shuttle in space, since they really don't have any space. So anyways, we're just going to finish it up with a First Order Stormtrooper, and then immediately going to play off Darth Maul to hit that in the face, and then we're just going to scoop that one up with the Revan player taking game 1. Welcome on to game 2. I just want to show you this. Yes, the 𝐂𝐻 player did draw all 3 of their Captain Enoch, as the 𝐂𝐻 player is finishing up siding. Once again, the Revan player does have 1 game up on the 𝐂𝐻 player. So anyways, Captain Enoch, if you've never seen him, is that he gets a +1/+, I think he gets a +1/+1 or a +1/+0 for each singular trooper in your discard. So anyways, we're going to, of course, bring out, of course, the Ryloth Militia, and then the other Revan side will bring out Colonel Yularen, and then Colonel Yularen members heals 1 for each green card you play on the board, and then the Ryloth just takes out Colonel Yularen, and then we, of course, Revan put out a super laser tech just to ramp up so that they can get faster into, of course, awakening Revan, because again, Revan is a 5, and then we have a quick judge call. After the judge call, the other player did jokingly decide to flip all of the 𝐂𝐻 players. Again, everyone here is good friends at the local, so no one's going to care. But anyways, we have Crumb coming down to the board. Again, he can heal 1 damage off your base, and then he can tap himself, bring himself back in the hand, and deal 1 damage to something on your opponent's board state. So anyways, once again, we're going to bring down another Separatist droid. We could, Separatist Commando, we could use the Commando to go, we can use the Commando's ambush ability because we do have our Separatist unit on the board. So anyways, it's going to go after Crumb, and then the Super Laser Tech is going to kill that off so that it can come out. The big part now is Revan really doesn't want to come out, with, especially since now there are 2 bodies on the board. Revan, I believe, is only a 3/5. He's either a 3/6 or a 3/5. He's not all that strong. So anyways, we're going to punch in to the base with the Ryloth Militia. Again, it does get a raid 2, and then we're going to swing in with the Separatist Commando droid. Again, guiding that buff off of 𝐂𝐻. So this turn, 𝐂𝐻 can come out. Revan last turn could have come out, but again, he would have practically died from the board state that is right now on the board. So we're going to burn the ECL. This should be another 𝐒𝐄𝐄. Yes, oh yes, there he is. Again, burning the shield. Revan to give a +1 because, again, something did die in combat. So anyways, we're going to go for the good old 𝐂𝐻 to pump up the Stormtrooper to make it thing, and then we're going to knock out the Ryloth Militia to give ourselves yet another good old-fashioned power-up. Anyways, we're going to go for the 𝐂𝐻. And then we're going to immediately bring out Revan. He's a 3/6. We're going to go for, of course, a good old overwhelming barrage onto, of course, the Stormtrooper. The Stormtrooper was already 5 there, so that was 7 automatically, right then and there, coming down for that. So anyways, 1 heal, of course, from the Crumb. Good old 𝐂𝐻 kills off the Crumb, powers up the Stormtrooper, and the Stormtrooper's just going to kill off 𝐒𝐄𝐄. The player hit their deck there and dropped 2 cards. I think that's the next 2 cards they were actually going to draw. But nonetheless, it's not exactly, it's a clean board state once again. But unfortunately, it looks like the Revan player is down a little bit. I mean, they do have damage. They have lost their leader awakening state as well. So nothing really there. We got a Darth Vader coming on down to the board here. So we're going to party off. And then remember, Darth Vader gets ambushed and can look at the top 8 cards of your deck. I can play as many villainy cards up to 3 costs. So we're just going to put out a Knight of Ren out onto the board. So anyways, again, 3 damage, of course, from the 𝐂𝐻, again, using a good old Revan to give 1 power over to good old Darth Vader. And then we're going to put out, of course, 2 Vanguard, Droid Vanguards, and 1 Captain Enoch. Once again, remember, Captain Enoch powers himself up for each trooper. Doesn't matter what type of trooper, as long as a trooper card is in your drop. So we'll have to kind of see how this works. I believe the vanguards are troopers themselves. So anyways, over there we are going to it's 𝐂𝐎𝐒. Agent 𝐂𝐎𝐒 does come in with ambush, and then when he kills a unique unit by battle, he does get to draw 1. There's a discussion. Looks like we're talking about how much Captain Enoch has in power right now. Again, because of how many troopers are in his current graveyard. So, and also, of course, the Revan did tap itself to give a power to Agent 𝐂𝐎𝐒. So anyways, we're going to give the Vanguard power from, of course, the Obedient Vanguard will get power from the other Obedient Vanguard, and then the other Obedient Vanguard will then give power to Captain Enoch. So again, 𝐒𝐲 is still capable to be used here. I'm not exactly sure how powerful he is, but I think he's pretty up there for how many troopers. Because again, you have all the stormtroopers, you have all the Obedient Vanguards, you have your First Order stormtroopers. So basically, the aspect here is that you got a lot of troopers in your deck that then Captain Enoch can do. So anyways, Enoch at least had way more power to get. Oh, okay, so he's I guess he's got the +1/+1 there. So anyways, we're going to go for the resupply. We're going to go for, of course, a First Order Stormtrooper, and then Guavian Intimidator. I forget what that guy is called. And a B1. So unfortunately, the Revan side is now getting swarmed with bodies, and then the base is going to get hit here with Captain Enoch. I'm not exactly sure. Right, Captain Enoch probably survived from something. I'm not exactly sure why he didn't just die the turn Vader hit him, but I'm not sure. Maybe, I think because of the 𝐒𝐲 buff. Right, I think 𝐒𝐲 buffed him so that he actually +2 there for the turn. So that actually helped them survive the Vader hit. And then we have Captain Yularen. Captain Yularen would heal here, but I don't think the Revan player caught that. Anyways, we're just going to go for the precision fire there and pretty much win the game by swinging with the pumped up precision fire. Gives a buff to the First Order Trooper, and then 𝐒𝐲 already gave that a buff, so the aspect is here that First Order Stormtrooper just wins the game right then and there. So with that, Tambor Tarkintown takes round number 2. That means we only have or game number 2, I should guess to say. So that means it's time for that all-important game number 3. Here we go for the all-important game number 3. Both sides are finishing up, either taking their mulligans, looking at their hands, finding out whether or not they want to take the mulligans, and putting all those important cards in the resources. Again, both sides are 1-1, so this is the all-important game number 3 to find out who will take it all. Tambor Tarkintown or Revan ECL? Who will win? Honestly, if you want my opinion, I think Revan and Luke are or Revan and Anakin. I feel Revan is the worst of the mono leaders, as we have a Sith Legionary and then a Gurvanian paying 1, and then a Stormtrooper coming down as well. Revan's going to be taking the initiative here, but Anakin's actually a little better. He's heroic, but he can use the Force to ignore the aspect penalty of using villainy cards. So villainy events, he can remove the aspect penalty there. So he has a little more playability than, say, this strategy over here instead of Revan, because Revan is very restrictive of the effect. So anyways, we're already going to burn the ECL there to immediately take 3 damage and then take 2 damage back from the Guavian. And then, of course, the Dark Trooper survives, so he gets a +1 for himself. And then, of course, Revan to give him +1, but it doesn't really matter. Tarkintown to immediately kill that off. Sith Trooper to Sith Legionary to give 2 damage to Tarkintown, and then we're going to puff up the Stormtrooper with Tambor and deal 5. Once again, it's not great on Tambor's side, as long as they have a face-up unit that you just punched into and you just basically gave them Tambor's ability. So yeah, Tambor's a very interesting. I think you should respect this leader. I think it's a really fun leader, by the way, just because he doesn't really play space. He plays a lot of ground, but even then, it's like one of those decks you don't actually want to kill off their units, because as long as they have a standing unit, Tambor just powers up that standing unit, and you're taking a whole lot of damage because of it. So anyways, we're going to pay 1 for a timely intervention here, and then we're going to immediately send in a super laser attack so that we can smash into, of course, a Stormtrooper. Tambor to power up the commando. And then we have another 2 coming down once again. And then we have Captain Enoch coming down, of course, getting his +1 +0 for all of his troopers. Revan is now down the board here. The big question is why? That's an interesting play there because the Separatist Commando droid can actually kill Revan there. But otherwise, I mean, you're going to take 6 damage to your base either way. So 6 damage to your base, or you sacrifice Revan at best. So again, Revan only has a Restore 1 on his backside. So, I mean, he's not really great. And sure, I mean, he can give buffs just like his front side can. But again, he's not great. So anyways, we're going to have a 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄. 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄, I forget it actually his name. But anyways, we're going to have him come down. He does come in shielded. He did not come off of the ECL there. The ECL, remember, brought out a Phase 3 Dark Trooper. So the Wat Tambor player is looking look through their resources. Again, they did smuggle like Timely Intervention. They do have that in their deck, so they do have the ability to smuggle that out from their resources. So anyways, we're just going to go for the good old effect of Overwhelming Barrage to power up Enoch so that we can knock at the shield off 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 and then hit the Sith Legionary. So then we're going to have immediately Captain Enoch kill off 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 to take back 3 damage, but still survive with 2 health. The big question is, do you bring out Wat Tambor this turn? And yes, he is Wat Tambor for 3 damage on the ECL base. Drawing 2 more as we move the next round. Again, right now, Wat Tambor wouldn't be able to power up Enoch as nothing has physically died this turn. That he has seen. So even if, say, Enoch dies, it wouldn't matter. So Vader to kill off the Enoch there just to remove it. And then we're going to look at the top 8 cards of our deck and see what we can pull out once again. Most of the time, you just drop 1 guy onto the board. There was a couple Mauls in there that kind of sucks. So anyways, we got a Crumb coming down. That's all we were able to hit because most of our other stuff was like Mauls. So not exactly great there. So anyways, Crumb comes down, does heal 1 on the play, and then 4 damage coming in from the Vader, does get a +1 off of the Revan effect. So anyways, it looks like we're going to go for a Timely Intervention, paying, of course, the 2 for that, then paying the 2 or more Sith Legionary to knock out Lord Vader. I mean, he only needed, oh, right, yeah, I forgot. It deals 4 damage on play because I was like, no, 2 damage, Vader doesn't die. Then I forgot, right, you actually had another villainy in Wat Tambor. So anyways, we had a First Order Stormtrooper plate before we, of course, moved on to the next round here. So right now, it does look to be in the favor of the Wat Tambor player, definitely for that. So anyways, we're also going to go for a Timely Intervention. What are we interventioning? Paying in the cost. What's coming out? It's a 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 to knock out the First Order Legion, First Order Stormtrooper, and then 1 damage, of course, to the base off of the of course, the indirect damage here from, of course, the First Order Stormtrooper. And then, of course, 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 does burn his shield, does get his +1 off of Revan. The player over there was so flustered that he lost all their resources. But anyways, we're going to send in the Separatist Commando to deal 4 damage to 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 here. Because, again, we do control another Separatist unit. It does gain ambush for the turn. So anyways, and then Wat Tambor is going to knock out 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 there. And then finish it off. And then we're just going to play out a B1 platform there. On the little bike. All right, and then we're going to move on. So once again, the board is basically in the favor of the Wat Tambor player. The board has been 100% always in the favor of the Wat Tambor player. Anyways, we have Agent Kallus coming down with the ambush. We're going to give him the +1, and because Agent Kallus did kill a unique unit, he does get to draw 1 here, which is really nice. Anyways, 5 at the base with the B1 here. But we're just going to see what else the players can play out. And then Colonel Yularen to heal 1 here. And then we're going to spam out a Ryloth Militia, a Benthic 2 Tubes, and a Sith Legionary, which will get the +2 onto it because there is another villainy unit currently on the board. Again, Admiral Yularen is really nice. So anyways, because anytime you play a green card, you have all that. Anyways, Kallus to kill off Benthic 2 Tubes and then draw 1 card because anytime he kills off a unique unit, you do get to draw 1. Ryloth Militia to kill off Colonel Yularen for the healing. We're going to go for a Super Laser attack on the Revan side of the board. Right now, the Sith Legionary does have, of course, that power buff right now. Wat Tambor still hasn't used his effect. We're going to go for Captain Enoch. Once again, that is 2 Captain Enochs, 2 Super Laser attacks, 1 more for a good old Stormtrooper. Then a card in the back area. I have no idea what just got put down. But anyways, swinging there for... and then we should get the plus. So nonetheless, 5, 4, and then extra 2 more to whoever got plus. And Revan will concede right from there and we will see what Tambor Tarkintown take the game. So, what do I think about it? It was a good game overall, but you can definitely see the power of why I think a lot of people just don't like Revan. He's just too weak. I mean, like I said, the Anakin's a whole lot better because he can use the Force to manipulate, his ability to play out villainy cards by using the Force, so he ignores the villainy aspect, so you don't have to pay the penalties. So, I mean, that's pretty neat. But other than that, Revan is just a power booster. That's pretty much all he is. He's not great. I think the cards are really cool, and the showcase is really cool. But unfortunately, as a leader, he's kind of meh, or even just downright bad. Yeah, so I just don't think people could play it. But anyways, the Wat Tambor, I will say, is a really fun deck, because you just, if you literally see little bodies like all of this coming out, and then you're trying to punch all your opponent's little bodies off the board, and then unfortunately, by punching your opponent's little bodies off the board, it just powers up Wat Tambor, gives Wat Tambor the ability to power up one of your guys, and then that bigger guy goes and punches you in the face, or punches over one of your guys. So it's kind of interesting to see exactly what this deck can really do. Again, Captain Enoch, because we had a lot of Trooper cards in the game. So Captain Enoch coming in all powered up. I mean, Wat Tambor is a lot of fun. Tarkintown is still probably one of those nuisance cards everyone just really wants out of the game, as well as ECL. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts, guys, down in the comments on the Wat Tambor Tarkintown deck, on the Revan ECL deck. Did I miss something that I could have spoken better about? Did I miss something in the gameplay? Let me know your thoughts overall on the gameplay. And let me know what decks right now you're repping for fun, casual, just pure jank, or competitive right now in the LOF format. And with that, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mama Dragons TCG.